Interesting. This is an interesting story. And you know what? I kind of think, I guess what I think is, how can we generate more revenue for us being the country, us being the government, and charging people to come to New Zealand a bit more? Maybe not a bad idea. Let's have a listen to a story from One News.
Tourists coming here will have a new expense to factor into their trip after the government almost tripled the international visitor levy. It surged from $35 to $100. Tourism operators and airline representatives say it'll have a negative effect on one of the country's biggest moneymakers. Abby Wakefield reports.
I've got some stats and data to show you shortly, but do we really honestly think that $65 extra is going to have a negative impact on our tourism? You know what, hun? We'll do our round trip. We'll spend 2 weeks in it. What? $65? Oh, no. We'll just stay in Australia. I really don't think that's the case. And I'll give you some hard facts about that very, very shortly. If we just continue, though.
On a sunny day in Queenstown, it's easy to find tourists out exploring. But are they willing to pay more to visit?
Absolutely, yes. Yes, and I think pay more of the $100.
Our airlines and airports aren't angry, they're just
disappointed with this move. We feel that it could end up being counterproductive.
Those thoughts echoed by tourism operators like this ziplining business.
I think for a lot of us, it's a bit of a body blow.
More than 1,000 submissions were made on the levy increase.
93% of submitters wanted an increase in the IVL rate. 2/3 of them wanted $100.
We're saddened by it. It went to consultation. There were a number of levels were proposed.
It's an interesting emotion to put to it. Saddened. Saddened is quite a big and heavy emotion to use. Saddened.
$50, $70 and $100, and we advocated for $50. We felt there should be an increase, but this is a very, very significant increase at a time when the tourism sector is struggling to recover post-COVID.
In a statement to One News, Labour's conservation spokesperson Priyanka Radhakrishnan says it doesn't make sense to raise the levy while trying to boost tourism at the same time, and the priority should be to encourage more tourists to come here.
The advice I've received is that
if you're a tourist that can't afford another $65, and look, respect to you, you're not the kind of tourist that's going to add a lot to our GST take and income for the country anyway.
Increase today in the IVL rate will have no significant impact on the number of international tourists visiting New Zealand.
Those exempt from the fee include Australian citizens and permanent residents, diplomats, and people from many Pacific Island countries. The levy contributes to high-value conservation projects, supports biodiversity in national parks, and improves visitor experiences on public conservation land.
Setting the rate now at $100 will bring in around $115 million for tourism and $115 million for conservation.
The changes will come into effect at the start of October.
Now, let me just bring some reality. This is a story from March the 6th. New Zealand is tourism booming. It's a strange way to write that, but what do visitors want more of? So there's a sentence in here that just says tourists spend on average just over $300 a day and stay on average for 10 days. So that means the average cost for a tourist for getting their flights, they spend on average $3,000 per person here. So that now is going to become $3,065. I don't see this as a big deal. I do see this as a way to get some more revenue for the country that New Zealanders aren't paying for, Chewy. I don't think it's terrible. I mean, I'm not like yay, let's charge the Americans more, but I don't see this as a huge deal. And if it can generate a bit of money that then does go to our biodiversity, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, it's a national policy, so I hate it. No, look, I'm going to say what I hate about this is the phrasing of the news report there. First of all, tourists aren't really going to be knowing that they're paying it. It's built into their airfares.
Yeah.
So they're not even going to see it as an extra tax.
Yeah.
Their tickets have gone up a little bit. And yes, $100 is going to be a tiny fraction of their air tickets to get here and their spend here. There's not a problem. The money goes into things that are going to enjoy their experience and they're going to protect New Zealand as well. The thing that I do have to criticise National about is, of course, this was brought in by Labor and was vehemently opposed by National at the time, as in Labor said that there weren't going to be any more taxes, and this is a tax.
Well,
so,
but
yeah,
will they say,
so
but it's not a tax? It's not a tax on New Zealanders. Would that be their out?
Yeah, that was the out, and they went, oh, typical Labor, but they were against the $35 levy, and then they've been in 8 months, and they have have boosted it up 65%. It is just an amazing piece of hypocrisy, and it is just really shines a light on the fact that at the time, I think this came in 2019, that was peak National just fighting everything that Labor were doing on fucking principle of that. No, you can't do anything. We hate it.
Yeah.
There was no principle behind National fighting it. It was just because it was Labor. But now they're at the heel. It's a great tool, and I agree. Like I've traveled extensively, and there's a lot that you travel. They put fees on you. There's bed taxes, and there's entrance fees and ESTAs and all sorts of stuff that you've got to do to travel internationally. It is just part of the thing. Like anybody coming from Europe, they'll be used to city taxes, bed taxes, all sorts of stuff like that. So to fly all the way to New Zealand, I think the tourism operators saying, oh, we're recovering post-COVID. You know what? People that have got through COVID, just like I did in January, it's become safe to travel again now. I'm going to do some bucket list shit that I've been thinking about while I was locked in my house for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like the tourists are coming back, man. And they've got money and they want to spend it and they love New Zealand. So I don't see this being a problem at all.
And when you say it'll just be a part of their ticket, so I just jumped on a couple of sites super quick. Emirates from London to New Zealand, so UK to New Zealand, £1,037 each way. Adding $65 is going to be about another 30. So it'll go from £1,037 to £1,067. Yeah,
They won't even notice.
Yep. And then I did one for United as well from America. So this is a round trip American from Los Angeles to Auckland. It's only next month, so it might be some cheaper ones further on. But basically, $3,000 US round trip becomes 3,100 if you have. Oh, it'll only be landing in New Zealand, so it becomes 3,030. So, and look, I mean, yeah, I get the hypocrisy. But there's that truth because of it's hard to say this. It's because of the bad decisions they've made. In other words, tax breaks and landlords. Because of those decisions, we need more revenue. And if we can get a bit more revenue from, foreign nationals coming to see our place who won't notice it, as you say, Chewy, I'm okay with it.